Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the February 2021 Pathfinder District Virtual Roundtable. Good evening, my name is Matthew Kennedy. I am your host for tonight's event. I also happen to be the District Vice Chair for Business and our Virtual Roundtable Commissioner. So it's wonderful to be with you all tonight. We'll get to some housekeeping stuff here in a little bit, and we've got a lot of people who are already getting ready to join us, logging on to our live streams as we speak. So let's get started. We've got a jam-packed agenda for tonight, but it would not be roundtable if we did not start with our traditional opening ceremony. So wherever you may be, please prepare yourself for the Pledge of Allegiance, the Scout Oath, and the Scout Law.
Those in uniform, please salute. Those who are not, put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout Law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
And two. So once again, thank you everyone for joining us. We already have almost 24 people who have logged on. More will join, I'm sure. We do tend to pick people up throughout the broadcast, but we are coming to you live via live stream tonight on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. So however you're joining us, wherever you may be joining us, thank you so much. If you would take a moment, we do want to take attendance. So please make sure that you are commenting. You're probably seeing a lot of people commenting on Facebook and YouTube right now. Please let us know your name and then the unit or units that you are representing, as well as any district or council positions that you may also hold. This does count as an official roundtable. We want to make sure that we account for everybody that attends. Units, we keep track of everybody who's attending from every unit and put that into our reporting. So if you are pursuing any kind of wood badge ticket or any kind of recognition that involves roundtable attendance, this does count. So please make sure that you check in for your attendance in the comments, and we will take things from there. Also, just because this is social media and it does help us, if you would take a moment on Facebook to like this video in addition to your comments, like it, love it, any kind of reaction that you want, the more engagement, the better for visibility. But then also, if you're joining us on YouTube, please do take a moment and subscribe to the YouTube channel and then click the alarm bell that appears on the screen. That will help us build the channel and make it more effective for reaching out to all of you, the Scouters and Scouting families all across Pathfinder District. And it will also help us be able to reach more people and let you know as soon as new content comes about. So, like I said, we've got a jam-packed agenda for today. We've got a lot to cover, so I'm not going to waste too much time. Our first topic for this evening is a big one. There's a very important deadline that's coming up with regard to this, and it's something that we should all be talking about in all of our units across Pathfinder District, let alone all across Crossroads America Council. And I'm, of course, referring to Summer Camp 2021. It's a big deal because we unfortunately did not get to have summer camp last year. So for many of our scouts, it will have been 2 years since they've attended a scouting summer camp, and in some cases, maybe longer if they're just now joining the scouting fraternity and program. So this is a very important topic. I've got some information that I want to play. It's a video that actually was shared by Crossroads America Council. We've got it for you here tonight as well. It's part of a monthly series that they're going to begin doing, and then we're going to discuss some more information after that. So enjoy, and I'll see you here in just a few minutes.
Hello and welcome to the monthly series about camp. This is our first video, and we'll have many topics throughout the year preparing you for summer camp. For example, next month we'll be talking about health and safety and specifically about our COVID procedures for this summer. But this week's video is about what to expect during this summer and what the programs are going to look like. Hello, my name is Matthew Long, and I have the pleasure of serving as the camp director of Camp Belzer this summer. I'm here to talk a little bit about our program and what you might expect as a parent while your youth is here at summer camp. Camp Belzer has 2 tracks. We have the Tiger and Wolf Camp, which is for those that are going into 1st grade and those going into 2nd grade. This track will be primarily focused on advancement during Cub Scouts. So your Scout will have an opportunity to do activities such as woodcraft, where they'll be able to make a woodcraft and really experience woodworking and working with those kinds of tools. We'll have survival bracelets, which are using paracord to create bracelets that the youth really enjoy. We'll also have an opportunity to experience a lot of STEM activities, such as cooking. While often not considered a STEM activity, it definitely involves a lot of science and chemistry. So we'll be doing some cooking where the Scout will have an opportunity to make a delicious snack while they're at summer camp. We also will then be doing engineering, where we'll be talking about creating structures and using blocks and linear structures and such as that. We'll also have an area like robotics, where they'll have an opportunity to play with robotics and learn how those machines work. In addition, we'll of course have the traditional summer camp activities such as BB guns and archery, which is always a huge plus with our youth. They absolutely love those programs. In addition, we'll also be working with swimming. We'll be teaching those Scouts the importance of swim safety, aquatic safety, as well as other things about basic swimming and basic skills when in the water. So there's a lot of opportunities for those Scouts in rising 1st and 2nd grade. The 2nd track at Camp Belzer is for those going into 3rd grade all the way up to those going into 8th grade. This is a great program and has a lot of opportunities. Each week of that program will have a different theme completely. Themes will range from wilderness survival to aquatics to shooting sports to STEM to conservation. All these weeks will have very specific program that will allow those youth really a great opportunity to learn about that topic and to experience from really subject matter experts to work through those programs and learn more about that theme. For example, the Wilderness Survival Week, we hope to bring in a great survival expert to talk to our youth about how you might survive in the woods, what to do when you're lost in the woods, what to do in a safety situation that you might be alone in the woods. So that's a great opportunity. But also the Aquatics Week will have a great opportunity to go up to Camp Kick the Weenin, where they'll be able to learn about rafting and swimming, swim safety, and really take that beyond the normal program that you might see at another Scout camp and really learn and dive more into aquatic safety. So those are some of the programs and activities being hosted at Camp Belzer. We really look forward to having you this summer, and we hope to see you.
Hi, I'm Sophie Swift. I'm the camp director for our Cub Scout overnight camps. Our family camp is for those bears and we blow ones, so those are the youth that are entering 3rd grade and entering 4th grade. But of course, it's family camp, so we encourage the whole family to attend. This is even older or younger siblings. Family camp will be occurring at the Kick the Weenin property in June and the Cretenstein camp property in July. Your family will have an opportunity to participate in activities such as BBs and archery, boating, and other aquatics-related programming, crafts, and many more. Our focus is on the electives that will help your Scout in their Bear and We Below 1 rank advancement throughout the rest of the year. Our program structure is going to be more open this year to allow for the family to move between activities as they desire. Of course, we will have some things scheduled. For example, a rocket launch on Saturday night. Of course, we want to engage the whole family, so we'll even have some activities that are specific just to parents. So be sure to keep an eye out for those as well. Our Arrow of Light camp are for those Arrow of Light Scouts, so those are those entering the 5th grade. We encourage you to attend as a den. A lot of this programming will be around electives that will help your Scout in their Arrow of Light rank. Some of the programs your Scout may experience are BBs and archery, aquatics, boating, and the Scouts BSA encampment. The Scouts BSA encampment is a really cool experience. It's giving these Arrow of Lights their first taste at what it's like to be in a troop. So when they enter the encampment, they're going to be forming patrols. They're going to be creating a patrol yell and a patrol flag. Really awesome experience for these Scouts. Just like with our family camp, our Arrow of Light camp will be occurring at Kick the Weenin in June and Cretenstein in July. We hope to see you there. Thank you for joining us for this month's video. Be sure to join us next month as we cover the topic of health and safety. And of course, please feel free to share this video on your unit's Facebook page, your email lists, etc. We look forward to seeing you next month.
some really good basic information there regarding summer camp. And now to get into a few more specifics, we've got some information that will apply to all of the different summer camp options for all of our scouts across the district, but they all have a couple of very specific things in common. The first slide that you see here, this information is for what is now known as Regional Day Camp, being held at the FFA Leadership Center. You all know this and love this more as Pathfinder District Day Camp. Do not let this name change fool you. It is essentially the same camp that we've always held, and we've held it as the Pathfinder District Day Camp. It's simply being renamed to apply so that people understand that you can attend any of these, whichever is most convenient to you based on location. Obviously, for us, it would be the one that's held in Trafalgar at the FFA Leadership Center. The registration link is there on the screen. That will take you directly to registration for this camp. It is a Monday through Friday a camp, once again, as a day camp, June 14th through the 18th. It does, once again, provide programming for all Cub Scout levels. So this year's Lions through Weeblos, essentially kindergartners through fourth graders, they would attend camp as a first through a fifth grader because they will have bridged up to the next level at that point. So there will be programming for all of those different scout levels at the regional day camp. Here's where the important information comes in, and this is where it applies to everybody equally. The $50 deposit per scout is due February 15th, which is this coming Monday. That is not to say that you cannot add additional scouts after February 15th. You can obviously do that. However, we do have to have $50 deposits per spot locked in for anybody that you have registered by February 15th. So make sure that you have those taken care of. We want to make sure that you get your spots locked in, especially for some of the other camps that we're going to talk about as we go through the list here. Early bird is the same for all camps this year. There isn't a difference between Cub Scouting and Scouts BSA. So for the regional day camp at the FFA Leadership Center, Pathfinder District's day camp, the early bird is $125 per scout. Adult leaders continue to be free. That price is effective until April 15th. That's a little earlier than has been true for Cub Scout packs. So please make sure that you make note of that date. It will go up after April 15th to $150. So that is the information for our regional day camp here in Pathfinder District. Please make sure that you're getting deposits in by February 15th. The other thing I want to note about our regional day camp, we're building the leadership team for that. Our special guest will talk about that here in just a moment, but also we are building the staff for that regional day camp. It is still something that Pathfinder District will run, even though it's now regional, and we are looking for scouts to serve on staff with our summer camp this summer. Unlike a lot of the other summer camps where it's a summer-long commitment, this is simply a 1-week program level of commitment. But it is a great opportunity for scouts to get practice with their leadership skills, with their instructional skills, and to get more experience for upper levels of scouting and then on to the future as they're looking at careers and jobs. So definitely talk to members of your troop, older scouts, 14 and above, 13 with Scoutmaster recommendation. See if there's anybody who might be interested in helping us out on staff this year, and definitely let Alan Wente know. He's going to be talking about that here in just a moment. We do also have Belzer's Day Camp. It is 6 different weekly sessions throughout the summer. All of them are Monday through Friday. Again, deposits due February 15th, $50. Early bird, $160 per scout with an asterisk. I'll get to that in a second. The price will go up on April 15th. This is 2 different programs in one. Last year, they were kind of marketed separately. This year, everything's all under one umbrella. So you have the traditional day camp program, which is targeted for this year's Lions and Tigers, kindergartners and first graders. There is also the Themed Week program that was promoted last year, that is available again this year, that will be working with current Wolves, current second graders, up through current seventh graders, so next year's third to eighth. So it does impact troops as well. If you have some younger scouts, sixth, seventh, and eighth graders next fall, who, even if they do also want to do the resident scout camp option with your troop, maybe they're looking for another alternative, some other summer programming where they can focus specifically on a theme that they enjoy, wilderness survival, shooting sports, aquatics, etc. This is something that could also be up their alley. If you have a scout who, for whatever reason, cannot attend your resident scout camp week, they can't go with you to Randsburg or wherever you may be going, again, an alternative that they may want to look at, it might be a good fit for them. The asterisk on the pricing is for 2 of the theme weeks, specifically the 4th and 5th sessions, the price on those theme weeks is higher. Not for the Belzer Day Camp itself, that is still the same pricing, but those 2 theme weeks specifically are more expensive. That is for shooting sports and aquatics specifically. Those do have slightly higher costs because of some transportation issues, so please note those 2 specific weeks are more expensive. Registration link is listed there on the slide. Overnight camps, there are 2 options at the Cub Scout level as well. There are 5 different sessions for this first one and for the second one. This first option is called Family Camp. This is targeting current wolves and bears, so next year's 3rd and 4th grade scouts and their families. This is a camp that is designed for families to attend as a unit or as a family unit. The camp is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday in all 5 cases, so it should make it a little bit easier for families to attend. The price is $120 per scout for the early bird. It does go up on April 15th, and adults and tag-alongs who are under the age of 4 are $50 each. So that is the first of the overnight options. The second, and the first 3 sessions are at Camp Kick the Weenand. Sessions 4 and 5 are at Camp Cretenstein. The same as Arrow of Light Adventure Camp. This is a 4-day, 3-night overnight camp. 5 different weekly sessions, 3 at Kick the Weenand, 2 at Cretenstein. Pricing and everything, registration links are listed below. As was mentioned in the video, this camp is designed for the next year's Arrow of Light Scouts, the ones who are preparing to bridge over to troop. This is really supposed to be kind of that first patrol-like camp experience. So attending summer camp as a den with leadership adults attending versus having family attend as much as possible, so we can mimic the Scouts BSA experience as closely as possible to give them a taste of what camp would be like the next year after they cross over. A lot of good information there to look at, and definitely check out the registration link for more information there. And then, of course, Randsburg Scout Reservation, the registration link here. 9 different weekly sessions, but that's with an asterisk. The first 3 weeks, sessions 1 through 3, are already listed as registration is suspended. Essentially, you can't sign up for those, so you're already looking at late June going into July, and space on those is filling up very, very, very quickly. If your troop has not signed up, and the good news is a majority of Pathfinder's troops have, but a few have not. So if you have not signed up yet for Randsburg and you're looking to do so now. Do not wait, and get in as quickly as possible to get your spot saved. Our camping chair, Lisa Gruby, is going to be reaching out to units across Pathfinder District to the Key 3. So if you are a Key 3 member of a pack or a troop, be expecting an email from her in the next few days. I don't know when it's going out, but I did hear from her that they're planning on sending that out soon. She's going to be reaching out to confirm which summer camp your units are planning on attending. If you're not attending a camp in council, specifically troops, but sometimes a pack or two, just let us know which camp you are attending. That obviously is an option that some units choose to do, and that's fine. We just need to know about it so that we can keep track of who is attending camp. It is something that we want to make sure that every unit is exploring that. A question did come in from Storm Rethmeyer, and I want to share it here real quick. There we go. What if we don't have the $50 deposits in? I'm going to separate these questions a little bit. If you don't have a spot registered at all and you need to add additional spots, you simply have to pay the $50 deposit pretty much as soon as you as soon as you sign up that spot in your registration. Instead of being something that could be added in later, it simply has to be added in immediately. For spots that you may have already put on your registration, they simply become inactive. So you would need to get them re-registered and put the $50 deposit in. It means that your spot is not locked in. And the most important place for that, again, is talking about Randsburg. If you do not have your deposit in for Camp Randsburg, spots are getting limited. If you want to ensure you have that spot, you need to make sure you get your deposit in and get it in before February 15th. I'm going to let our next guest delve into that a little bit more because I'm sure many of you don't want to hear anything more about, from me for a little bit. So I want to welcome our guest for this evening, the man who knows everything about activities in Pathfinder District. Please welcome Alan Wente, Vice Chair of Activities for our District Committee. Welcome, Alan. How are you doing tonight? It's a pleasure to see you. It's been so long.
It has been quite a while, and thank you for inviting me back. It's always good to see myself staring at myself on a computer screen. Nothing makes me feel more humble. But
it's definitely an interesting experience these days, especially when it used to be everybody in a cafeteria staring at us at Roundtable. So, what do you have anything else that you want to share on summer camp? I busted through a lot of that, and I know you have a few other things that you want to talk about, but anything that you want to add on or clarify?
Right, and just to tack on, because you answered everything right about Storm, and really those $50 deposits really come into play when sessions are getting close to being full. So at Cub Scout camps, not saying it's not a big deal, but they have such a large number of people that they can accommodate generally pre-COVID, and we'll see how that gets impacted post-COVID. So that one doesn't have as tight as a requirement, but with Randsburg, if you don't have your $50 deposits in, they will start looking at combining campsites. So if you are a large troop, but you only have 10 spots reserved, you might lose half of your campsite when they try to fill in other people that do want to come camping. So Scouts BSA troops, aged myself there, make sure you get those $50 deposits in. To Kevin's question, if you have, because a lot of Arrow of Light Scouts will be crossing over here in the next few weeks to month and a half, there is an extension there that allows those registrations. So there is the allowance, and they will allow you to register. Troops allow them to register later, but I would say, especially if you're looking to go early in the summer, encourage your troop to register your new scouts, your former Arrow of Light Scouts, your new Scouts BSAs as soon as possible. If you know you want to go to camp, reach out to your Scoutmaster now and say, hey, add us to your list. And then you guys can settle up the funds later. Hopefully most troops can float a $50 for a few weeks.
Fantastic. Everybody who out there, please. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'll just mention one more thing before we go, and that was talking about your little announcement about the district day camp and our need for staff. If you saw that video, Matthew Long, who is now the camp director of Belzer, started as a volunteer staff member at Pathfinder Day Camp. He was this tall, and you can't see my hands right now. Still had that big shaggy hair, but he's a great young man, and I'm glad we have him on our professional staff now. But he got his start on this path to becoming a professional scouter at our regional day camp. So just think of what your scouts get to do in the near future. But yes, we do need a lot of help putting on this program. It's a volunteer week. So that's for adults. If you are wanting to take a week of vacation and come and hang out at the waterfront or come shoot some BB guns all week and make sure our scouts don't shoot each other with BB guns, we need your help. But the same thing is we're looking for those Scouts BSAs that are 13, 14, 15, 16 years old to just come and play games with our younger scouts all week. It's fun. It's great recruitment into your troops. So when our Cub Scouts start going to visit troops and they say, hey, I remember that guy from District Day Camp. We had so much fun playing games, playing Frisbee. He sat with me at lunch every day. That's an easy recruitment tool into your troop because you're making those relationships. So absolutely, if you have any scouts, generally we try to look for that first class scout, 13, 14 years age. If you have a pretty dynamic younger scout, they would just need a scoutmaster's recommendation. So forward, and you'll see my email come up later. Give me that information. We'll reach out to those scouts as we start building out that team. And it's going to be a great week at Pathfinder Day Camp, and hope to see as many units there as possible.
Always great information. And just before you get into everything else, just a reminder to everybody out there, this is an interactive session. As you've noticed, a couple of people have made comments to ask questions. We put them up on the screen. If you have a question, please do go ahead and put it in the chat, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube. Please mention those questions. We can pull them up to the screen. We've got about a 10-15 second delay before we see them. But after Alan goes through all of his items here, we will have a chance for questions for him here in just a second. So, Alan, without further ado, I know you have a lot of other things to talk about activities-wise, so go for it.
I do. What is scouting without the outing? So we have a lot of events coming up here in the next few months that we want to get in front of you so you can get them in front of your parents and onto your calendars. The next event that we have coming up is the reschedule of the Winter Camporee. This was supposed to be in January. The COVID numbers were peaking at that time. We couldn't get permission from the county board of health in the county where we were hosting it to allow a group to assemble, but we have been able to secure that now. And so we are hosting the Winter Camporee March 12th through the 14th at Camp Cretenstein. There is a 250 participant limit. And this is a section camporee. So there are multiple units that are looking to go camping because they're just itching to get out. So make sure you get signed up, your unit signed up as soon as possible. $12 a scout for the early bird, $15 once it hits full price. The first 2 adults are free, and that's so that we always hit that youth protection standard. So we try to remove any barriers that we can to allow that to happen. So your first 2 adults are free. It's going to be a great camporee. It's a Klondike derby, and so that your scouts will actually be pulling around sleds with all this gear that they need for throughout those stations, and they participate in 10 different stations. One of them just being service, because we always love to do service and scouting and leave the environment better than what we found it in. So 9 different stations that test your scout skills, your teamwork, your STEM knowledge. It's going to be a great time. The link is at the bottom of that little flyer right there. There is the Adult Leaders Guide and SPL Guide already published to that site. So you can go there, look at the schedule, look at the requirements. You can see the plans on how to build that sledge that you'll be pulling around. If you want to do the sledge race, there are some requirements as to the weight and the materials that can be used for that sledge. But if you don't really plan on participating in that race, then it can be really built out anything and weigh anything. But they will need to truck around the supplies that they need for all the stations throughout the day. So go to that website, look at that SPL Adult Leader Guide that's already there in the attachment section, and get your units registered. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be some great weather. I can tell you that right now. The next month, the next month is our District Pinewood Derby. Nope, go back, Matthew.
Okay.
Yep, so there is our District Pinewood Derby. So I know this is for the Cub Scouts. There are a lot of Pinewood Derbies going on right now, whether they be virtual or in person. So thanks to Kevin Layton and his pack, they have agreed and volunteered to host our District Pinewood Derby. It's going to be April 10th at Grace United Methodist Church. we ask that the pack actually registers their winners. So instead of having every racer go out and register themselves, we're asking the pack to do one registration for all of their racers that want to compete at the district event. It's $5 per entry, and there's your link. You can find the rules and the rules for the cars at that link. And so it's going to be a great event. We're still working out the exact schedule, so we're going to see how kind of the COVID numbers are, but we're probably looking at breaking up the different dens into different racing blocks. So lions will race at a certain time, tigers will race at a certain time, etc., just to minimize the number of people in the building at the same time. And then we're also looking at the virtual option so that we might be able to live stream the races. So that way maybe a grandparent out in California or somebody that can't quite be there in person can still watch their Scouts car go. But the racers would need to be there in person. It's not a drop off and come off. They need to be there in person for the race, and that's pretty well spelled out in the rules. Now going back to the Scouts BSA, the month after the winter Camporee is the spring Camporee. And so it's also going to be at Camp Cretenstein. There's not a lot of details out on this one yet. It's being hosted by a different district. But again, if you are looking to get your Scouts out and camping and participating with other units and practicing their Scout skills, absolutely sign up for the Camporee. Both of our Camporees kind of straddle the beginning and end of the school spring break season. So hopefully your unit can attend at least one of them. My preference would be the winter Camporee, but that's because we're hosting it and I'm a little bit biased. But watch that website there for additional updates as far as programming and any equipment and any logistics that you would need to know. All right, Order the Arrow update. So some of you know, some of you may not know, our chapter, unfortunately, is currently in a suspended status. And so basically, and the only reason that is because we were not able to, we had a gap in our chapter advisor as well as youth officers. We've made a great step in the past future that we have found somebody who is willing to serve as the advisor. And when I say this guy is quality, I absolutely mean that this guy is quality. He has a huge Order the Arrow background, a great passion for that program. So just the fact that we found this individual is a major coup for us. So we have recommended this individual to the lodge leadership for their approval, which we expect here in the next little bit once they are able to connect and work things through. So that's the exciting news. But in order to also get our chapter off of suspended status, we need to secure some youth officers. And we're looking for a chapter chief, a chapter vice chief, and a chapter secretary. So if you have members in your unit that are already members of the Order of the Arrow, and you think they would be great officers to help kind of get our chapter back up and running, forward those names to me. And again, for youth protection, copy yourself as well, or at least another adult on that email as well. But send me those names, do like a virtual introduction, and then once we have a enough interest, we're going to really get this chapter up and running again. It's going to do great things, and we're really excited. And so I look forward to next month being able to introduce our new chapter advisor, and everybody's just going to be extremely impressed with the qualifications of this individual. That being said, it is Order of the Arrow election time. So here I'm talking to Scouts BSAs and adventure crews, but you should have been receiving emails from Jocktown Lodge BSA asking you to schedule BSA or your unit elections. And so there are unique links. So I can't necessarily put up, say, go here to register. Every email had a unique link. So when you go to click that link and register your unit election, it would already know who you are or your unit is. Now, with the recharter process and some people moving positions, it may have gone to the wrong person. So if you are a unit leader, either a committee chair, a scoutmaster, a crew advisor, and you have not received any emails from Jocktown Lodge asking you to schedule your unit elections, go ahead and reach out to Will Turner, who's our section advisor, and then that's his email there. Go ahead and say, I'm a new unit leader. We just changed a charter. I'm not getting the emails, and he'll make sure you get the links. That way we can get our airmen out to you and get those unit elections scheduled. So there was a question, do they have to be under 18 or 21? Tom, I'm going to have to research that one because I know there were some changes recently. So I don't know the exact answer to that, but I will make sure we follow up. I know youth used to be considered youth in Order of the Arrow until the age of 21. I think I remember something about that changing, but I don't know when or if it did. And thank you, Matthew, for putting this one up. Just a reminder to all of those who are in the Firecrafter program, there are 2 deadlines coming up here shortly. So March 15th is when units can put in a nomination for other adults of that unit to join the Firecrafter organization as an adult. So adults don't have to go through the card of requirements and do their fire by friction and 3 hours of service, although if they do, it's great, but they don't necessarily have to do that to become a member. They get nominated, and then it goes through a review and approval process. And so that is coming up on March the 15th. Now, generally, they like people that are pretty heavily involved in camping, especially the long-term camping for their Firecrafter organization. But if you have an up-and-coming leader, if you have somebody you feel is really worthy of joining that Firecrafter organization, go ahead and submit their name. Adult and youth Mendocino nominations, so those that are Firecrafters, and then you will see the criteria for the time limit. They have to be a Firecrafter in order to be nominated to Mendocino, and it's different between youth and adult, but you'll find that on this webpage. Those nominations are due on April the 1st. So if you have Firecrafters in your unit that you feel are really exemplary, that you could put up on the pedals and point to every other Firecrafter and be like that individual and you'll be amazing, those applications are due April 1st. You'll find out all the information that you need to know right there at the firecrafter38.wildapricot.org on page 18128.
Very exacting information on that address. You answered the questions as they came in, so I don't really have anything else. Keith Karn did share, so in response to Tom Jackson's question of do they have to be 18 or 21, Keith is saying OA are still youth until they turn 21. I think it's really just clarifying for those leadership positions if there's a cap on those, but we will double check that and get information out as necessary. But really at this point, regardless of age, I think we really just need to know about anybody who is interested. Contact Alan, let him know about anybody who's interested. We'll figure out the age details later, but it's imperative that we do get that lodge restarted and off the suspended list. So, chapter. I'm sorry, not the lodge. The lodge is overall, just the chapter. So, Alan, thank you so much for your time this evening. We always appreciate your words of wisdom. Any parting items before you ride off into the moonlight for the evening?
No, it's just great to be here, and I look forward to seeing everybody at the Winter Camporee or Excellent. The Pinewood Derby.
But the key is you saw the links, and if you missed them, just check out the video replay of Roundtable. Get those links, get registered as soon as possible for these events, just so we can start planning for how many people are attending and make sure that we've got the plans to pull them off. So thank you again, Alan. Have a wonderful night. Oh, go ahead.
And Matt, they are on the district calendar. So if you go to our district webpage and you scroll down to the calendar, all these events are listed on that calendar.
And there's also a tab on our Facebook page that shows you that same council calendar on our Facebook page, so you can just flip over there too and see the updates as well. We will get Facebook events created for them as soon as we got more information to add in. So thank you again, Alan. Have a wonderful night. We will talk to you again soon. And feel free to hang out and check for watch the rest of Roundtable.
We'll see you.
All right. So Alan Wente, everybody. We've got a lot more to cover. So thank you for everybody for continuing to put in comments and questions, continuing to check in. Moving on from activities, we're going to move into the program side here a little bit and talk about some advancement items and things like that. And this month is a very important month for Scouts BSA and the Boy Scouts of America in general. Obviously, it is our birthday as an organization from February 8th. But on top of that, on February 21st, we have a very special celebration that will be taking place. Here's a little commercial to let you know what's going on.
Hi, I hope you can join us for the celebration of the first class of female Eagle Scouts on February 21st. Check us out on Facebook and YouTube.
It has been a couple of years since Scouts BSA and the Boy Scouts of America have started family scouting and bringing in female scouts into the Scouts BSA ranks. And this February 21st, coming up here in just a little over a week, about 10 days from now, we will be having a very special national celebration of the first class of female Eagle Scouts in the Boy Scouts of America. So just below my face is the address, scouting.org/BeTheChange. There's a ton of information there specifically on how to access it. It will be a live streamed event across Facebook and YouTube. They will have links there on how to RSVP for the event and get reminders so that you can check it out. It will be February 21st at 8 p.m. We do have female Eagle Scouts who will be part of that celebration, among this inaugural class here in Pathfinder District and Crossroads of America Council. We're obviously proud of all of their accomplishments and want to celebrate this very special class of Scouts, the first females to officially earn the rank of Eagles. So please do plan to attend. It is a special moment in every Scout's life and a very special moment for the Scouting movement in general. I also wanted to take a moment, and this is another video that Council shared. It's going to mention a date, and the date's a little bit out of place, but in case you weren't aware from the awards dinner this past fall that the Council held, there was a Scout here in Pathfinder District who was recognized for his Eagle project specifically, and it's something that I just want to make sure that everybody has had a chance to see, because Council just shared this video a couple of weeks ago, and I wanted to make sure that he also got the recognition here at the Pathfinder District Roundtable as well. So please check out this very special presentation about one Eagle Scout's service project to make a difference here in Pathfinder District.
I'm Richie Arkanoff. I'm an Eagle Scout from Troop 245. So my Eagle Scout project was a memorial for students and staff who passed away while they were active in the Center Grove School District. That's the school district that I'm from. My dad's actually an admin in the school district, and so I kind of like I get to see a lot of like the ins and outs of everything they do there, and they were doing a lot of construction during the time that I was in middle school, and so they had a lot of problems with they had a lot of different memorials that had that were just all around the school district, and with construction they had to be moved and stuff like that, and so it caused a lot of problems for them, and so they wanted, and I thought of okay, what if they had one centralized memorial for everyone so that they could all be recognized, and when in the case that something like that does happen, they have a place where people can be recognized like that. So yeah, there's definitely room to expand, and and with the memorial, it's like a tree that has it's like 3 plates of steel that are meshed together, and the inside is perforated steel. So there's nickel-plated leaves that have their engraved name and the date, so it can always be expanded for more people. When we were going through the process, we did sort of a celebration with the school district of sort of an opening ceremony, and we had people come, and I sort of just we'd sort of an opening ceremony and stuff like that, And there were people that came that like I didn't even know who they were, and they came up to me and were just like so grateful to like have someone remember those people. You know, they like to feel that like someone is forgotten, and to have someone be like, oh, you know, I did this for someone who I didn't even know, you know, and they were just so grateful to like have that person in their life be remembered. It was really meaningful to them, so it made me feel really good about that. It just showed me how much my project impacted people, just to know that like it had such a big impact on my community, and that's sort of like the biggest thing about an Eagle Scout project is like having that impact on your community and knowing that it really did impact so many people that I don't even know that are around me was a really great thing to know and like further establish like how much my project impacted my community. Yeah, so if you know someone who has an exceptional Eagle project, you definitely should nominate them, and you can go by January 21st, go to the link down below and make sure they get in there.
Like I said, it's an award that was presented last year. The 2020 Eagle Scout Project of the Year recognizes the best project from the previous year, and he mentioned the link below and the deadline on that. And I apologize for mentioning this after the fact. The deadline was January 21st. The reason I mention it now is the theme of the celebration of this first class of female scouts, female Eagle Scouts, is be the change. And I think it's a wonderful reminder to all of us, and Tom Jackson shared a comment that it was a very cool project. It is indeed, but there are dozens of Eagle Scout projects that our district alone has from units across the district each year. Multiply that across the number of districts in our council and the number of councils across the nation. This is an example of what being the change really means. So I just wanted to honor Richie again and remind everyone, even though we missed this most recent deadline on January 21st, possibly, remember it for the Eagle Scout projects that you know of this year. And if you see one that is exceptional, someone that does really go above and beyond, make sure that we take the time to recognize them, put in that application. It is available on the Crossroads of America Council website. And let's recognize those Eagle Scouts who really do exemplary projects to take care of their community and give back to others. Also, in connection with that, if you know of any Eagle Scouts, there are some college scholarship deadlines that are coming up as well. I know that was shared in one of the volunteer groups on Facebook. Definitely make sure that you're sharing those with Eagle Scouts that you know, so that they can have the opportunity for those college scholarships as well. While we're on the topic of service and service hours specifically, I've got a little bit of a Commissioner's Corner note. This comes to us from the Commissioner's team, and they wanted me to share some information about service hours reporting. It is something that is essential that every unit is doing, whether a pack, a troop, a crew, a ship, whatever unit you may have. We all participate in service hours throughout the year. We need to make sure that we're reporting those for Journey to Excellence purposes, and then simply for purposes of giving council the data for that, because it does impact some of the reporting that they do. So the reporting of service hours, though, has changed over the past little bit, and we want to make sure that you've got the accurate information on how to do it. So here's a quick how-to, and I'll have a link for where you can see this video again, just in case you missed some details.
Welcome to Internet Advancement for Boy Scouts of America. For this tutorial, we are focusing on how to log activities. Although anyone can use Internet Advancement, if you are a Unit Key 3 Advancement Chair or Key 3 Delegate, you have the ability to create activities that participants can be assigned to, ensuring quick, seamless tracking of participation and ensuring accuracy. The roster screen loads when you first log in. If you are in more than one unit, your default unit will be shown. To switch between units or to view just your personal youth as a parent or guardian, use the Group Selection drop-down menu. You may also choose to view just youth or youth and adults. On the roster screen, select which members participated in the activity you wish to record. Then select Record Progress. From here, you can select service hours, campout, hike, or long cruise. Choose one of these and a calendar will appear for you to choose the date of the activity. Dates that already have an activity are shown with a light blue box around the date. If you want to add the selected members to an existing activity, select it from the list at the bottom. Otherwise, click on Create New Activity. When creating an activity, you must enter all start information. Please note the other fields are recommended as it will help when reviewing it later. For service hours, under Project Details, the category and collaborative organization feed into the Journey to Excellence program and allows for conservation hours to be reported separately from other service hours in the activity summary report. You may select more than one collaborative organization for each service activity. At the bottom, there are two tabs, Basic and Advanced. Use the Basic tab to enter the number of hours most or all participants worked. Then switch to the Advanced tab if needed to enter unique values. If non-registered people participate, be sure to record how many and the average number of hours per person. To add someone to the service project from this screen, click on the Add Person button. When complete, scroll to the bottom of the screen and click on Edit and Finish. If there are no problems, the pop-up will close and display a success message at the top of the screen. Otherwise, a message will indicate where an error needs to be corrected. Similarly, hikes, camping, and long cruises can be recorded. Participants cannot be assigned to an activity in advance of it occurring. However, activities planned for the future can be created by an authorized leader. To do this, go to the Activities page using the menu on the left of the screen and click on the plus sign to create a new event. Parents of a Scout or Scouts themselves can add their attendance to a unit-created activity or create a personalized activity that is not shared with the other unit members. It is important to remember that activities created by Unit Key 3, Advancement Chair, or Key 3 Delegate are available for everyone in the unit to view and join. When an authorized leader creates or edits an activity, the entry is automatically approved. An entry made by anyone else will appear on the pending items list for leadership approval. Leadership can view pending entries by selecting pending items from the roster screen and choosing which to approve. That's all for now. Remember, there is so much more to internet advancement, so take your time to look around and learn about this powerful resource that Boy Scouts of America has made available for all registered units. Thank you for doing your best and being prepared to help Scouts continue to advance today and into the future.
So again, that's a very quick video on how to enter it. If you haven't entered service hours in a while for your unit and you're used to the old system that we used to use for service hours reporting, this is the new system that you have to use for everything, with one very important exception. And there's a reason that this followed a video about Eagle Scout projects. The old system, the old service hours reporting system, is still active. So if you go there, you can still log in. You can still view your previous entries. So if you have previous service items that your unit has entered, that archive is still there. So you can still view the old information. There is also still a spot to enter Eagle Scout service project hours. That's the one thing that you can still put into the old service hours reporting system. Otherwise, everything has switched over to the Internet Advancement Portal. So if you haven't gotten used to using that yet, it is something that you want to take a look at. Down here below me is the link where you can find that exact video. So if you need to see it again, if you want to watch through it at a little bit slower speed, because I know they go pretty fast with the cursor there a few times, that is where you can check out that video and look at, other questions and other frequently asked questions about the Internet Advancement Program. You'll note on the address that it's scoutbook.scouting.org. This is the same system that is attached to Scoutbook, but when it comes to the log entries, service hours, hiking, camping, long cruises, the four that they mentioned, when you click on those in Scoutbook, it will carry you out and take you to Internet Advancement instead. So ultimately, whether you're using Scoutbook or not, this is the same portal for both types of unit. regardless of whether you're using it or not, that's how you're going to report your service hours, and then also camping and hiking logs if you wish to put those in there as well. So it is important that we do that. If you have not been doing so, please get those caught up. The commissioners would like to ask that all units get their service hours caught up as quickly as possible. Speaking of service hours, one important note, the 2021 Scouting for Food campaign is getting ready to get started here pretty soon. The official dates are April 17th to the 24th. That's the window that we're targeting for Scouting for Food this year. On the screen, there is a link just right over here. That is the unit commitment form for your unit to be able to register for Scouting for Food this year. If your unit is participating in the Promise to Parents program, that was where packs and troops could get the discount on recharter registration fees, knocking everything down to $40 per scout. This is one of the requirements that has to be fulfilled by your unit in order to fulfill your agreement in that program. So do make sure that you've registered in the Scouting for Food campaign as soon as possible. In that, it will also ask you if you need stickers and grocery bags. On that form, you'll indicate how many you need of each. If you want to get those, you need to have this form completed by March 15th. So you've got a little over a month to get this done. I wanted to make sure that you had it now so you could get that completed. Even if you don't need the bags, please get the form completed by March 15th, just so we can know which units are participating and which ones are not. But again, this is required if you are doing Promise to Parents. So please plan accordingly and make sure that you have everything registered for your unit. Similarly, the Friends of Scouting Family Campaign, the unit presentations that we traditionally do through the first part of the year. We mentioned this at January Roundtable. This is the registration link to register your unit for your presentation this year. Again, if you're doing the Promise to Parents program, if you had that registration recharter discount, this is a requirement for that program. So you need to make sure that you have your unit registered for your Friends of Scouting presentation. We do have options for doing those presentations both in person, if your unit is meeting in person and if you have the ability to do so. We are also offering it as a virtual option for units that are not meeting in person. We would just ask that it be a virtual meeting where families predominantly would be attending, or at least adults, adult leadership would be attending in as large an attendance quantity as possible. But do get your registrations done on this as quickly as possible as well. We're targeting having all presentations completed by the end of April. So please make sure that you're getting those scheduled as soon as possible. Lastly, from our awards committee, the Pathfinder District Awards nomination window did close at the end of January, on January 31st, with one important exception. The Guiding Light Award nominations window is still open. We are looking for any nominations for the Guiding Light Award to still be submitted as soon as possible. As noted here on the screen, and the link there is pretty long, so I'll give you a second to copy it down, but it is also on our district website, so if you need the nomination form, you can get it there. The Guiding Light Award is for volunteers who exemplify Scouting spirit in their actions, in their commitment to the Scouting program. Each unit may nominate one recipient per year. So right now, there's right around 60 units in Pathfinder District. There's no reason that we couldn't have 60 nominees for this honor. So if your unit has not submitted their nomination for this award, it is still possible to do so. Please get those in as soon as possible. So I will let you take that and run with it. We would love to honor as many deserving Scouters and Scouting leaders as we can here in Pathfinder District. We did have a question that came in here real quick from Brian Holtz. Is it urban legend or a Scout book going to be required by Scouts BSA soon? The short answer on that one is I don't know. I know that there's a lot of discussion about it, which is probably where the urban legend mention comes in. There's nothing requiring any unit to use it. Some units find value in using it. Some prefer other systems, Troopmaster, etc., that they have used in the past. There are certain elements of it that are going to be required. For instance, service hours reporting, because that goes through internet advancement. That is an element of Scout Book, I guess you could say, that is required for everybody to use. There are some things with merit badge counselor lists where those will be available through Scout Book or a portal similar to it, but that's not in place yet, and that's still in conversation. The short answer is it's not going to be required in the near future. What happens after that, who knows? But it is a program that some troops use and use effectively. Some choose to use another program. As long as the achievements and the awards are getting reported, at the end of the day, that's what we're really looking for. So just make sure that you're getting everything recorded as soon as you can for your unit. The last couple of things that we want to do, and we're looking good on time here, but I want to make sure that we have a little bit of time for questions at the end. We do have our 2 breakout sessions, the Cub Scout breakout and then our Scouts BSA breakout. For the Cub Scout breakout first, it's a discussion about advancement. Ironically, as we were just talking about Scout Book and internet advancement. The advancement piece in Cub Scouting is very important. The ideas of instant recognition and giving Scouts their awards and their achievements when they're earned, and making sure that we're recognizing them publicly in a special way so that they feel that they have earned what they have been working on. It is a very important part of the development process that Cub Scouting tries to teach. So for the breakout, and you may have some questions or some thoughts. As the videos have done in the past, there are questions that they mention at the end. I actually want to give them to you up front because we do have these forums, these comment sections on Facebook and on YouTube. So as you're watching the video, please do share your thoughts on these items. What does your pack or your den, even at the troop level, if you want to throw out your ideas of what you do to provide instant recognition, the ways that you do to make sure that your Scouts are receiving their recognition in a timely fashion, when ceremonies are appropriate, especially in an era of COVID. How are we doing things if we may be virtual? How are we recognizing people for their achievements? What do you do to bring the fun to the advancement ceremonies? Courts of honor can be a little dry unless we do things to spice them up a little bit. So what are we doing to bring the fun in those cases? What do you do special for Scouts when they earn rank? Achievements, belt loops, merit badges are one thing, but rank, it happens very few times. A maximum of 7 plus 6 is 13 now, I believe, between Cub Scouting and Scouts BSA. What are we doing to make those moments special? And then how are we involving parents? How are we involving families in the advancement process? So some questions to consider as the video is going along. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Share your ideas, share your questions. We'll make this a little bit more of a traditional breakout session that we would have at Roundtable. So enjoy the video. Please share your thoughts as we go along.
Recognition is powerful in child development and shaping behavior. Cub Scouting recognition is a form of positive reinforcement. Now, simply defined, positive reinforcement is giving someone a reward, like a recognition, when they display a desired behavior. Now, eventually, an association between the desired behavior and the positive reinforcement is made, so they display the desired behavior more often. This is why recognition in Cub Scouting, especially in the age ranges that we work with, is an important part of our program. We want Cub Scouts to establish good habits. The habits we want to establish is simply the aims of Scouting: leadership, character, citizenship, and personal fitness. The character traits are simply the Scout Oath and Scout Law. Welcome to Roundtable. How we go about establishing these good habits are the methods of Scouting. The advancement program is one of the 7 methods used to do so. In this roundtable, we're going to talk about advancement as a method. Now, I encourage you to watch the online training module in My.Scouting's Learning Center for Cub Scouting, simply called Advancement. if you have not already done so. Now, this 10-minute module covers the basics of Cub Scout advancement. Now, we're going to talk about the key elements to the advancement program and how you can enhance your advancement program in your pack or den. Now, in the opening comments, we talked about recognition being positive reinforcement to help establish good habits. This is a very simplistic explanation of positive reinforcement. It is the basis upon which the Cub Scout advancement program is designed. Now, I'm going to demonstrate how this method is designed to work in Cub Scouting. When we want a Cub Scout to develop the habit of healthy eating, we do so by creating requirements to learn about healthy snacks. Requirements include fun activities like making and eating a healthy snack. For example, make your own trail mix. And after completing all the requirements for an adventure, they are rewarded with a shiny adventure loop. In this example, there are two very distinct positive reinforcements that are used. Now, the first positive reinforcement is the activity done to complete the requirement. Fun is a huge positive reinforcement, like hands-on activities. It is not enough to learn about trail mix. If we really want to establish a healthy eating habit, they need to make it. At this age of development, Cub Scouts learn best when they are in a physical activity associated with it. Now, a tip from the experts on this. Activities in Scout Book's Den Leader Experience are designed to be fun and interactive. They are also designed to be safe. So with that in mind, if you know of a fun way to complete a requirement or to add extra fun to it, and it meets the standards of safe activities found in the Guide to Safe Scouting, go ahead, do it. Now, my friend Shelly planned the Germs Alive adventure for her son's wolf den. Shelly had a twist to demonstrate how germs are spread. She had a mystery scout who she pulled aside before the meeting began and applied a very cool product called Glow Germ. Now, this Glow Germ is a product designed to teach proper hand washing. Now, no one else knew who was infected. Everyone wore masks and gloves during the meeting, but towards the end of the meeting, she shared with the den the lessons on how germs are spread, and then she took out a black light to demonstrate how just one person can spread germs. Now, all the other scouts could actually see where the germs landed. This was a super creative way to enhance the fun of this activity. It was simple and safe. Now, I'm positive that the Cub Scouts that night will remember this lesson behind the activity and how quickly germs can spread and the importance of hand washing. Fun activities are one part of positive reinforcement used in Cub Scouting. The second part of positive reinforcement with advancement is when an adventure is completed. Each Cub Scout is presented with an adventure loop or pin. Now, this brings up an extremely important factor in positive reinforcement, and that is time. The shorter the time between the behavior and the reward, in this case, the adventure loop or pin, the higher the likelihood of success. The longer the time between the behavior and the reward, the less likelihood of success. To the point that when enough time passes, there's absolutely no connection between the behavior and the reward. This is why you want to reward Cub Scouts instantly when they complete an adventure with their adventure loop or pin. Now, preferably at the conclusion of the den meeting or when the activity occurred. This is the method that makes the most out of positive reinforcement and is the preferred method. Now, yes, I know some packs save their presentations of the adventure loops and pins for pack meetings. The problem is that the time between when the adventure was completed and the presentation of the advancement at the pack meeting is way too long to be effective. Young Cub Scouts need instant recognition to see the connection between the behavior and the reward. Their concept of time is about the here and now. The best method is for den leaders to have the adventure loops or pins purchased before the adventure is completed. This is why adventure loops and pins do not require advancement reports. We want the den to have them to present at the den meeting or activity when the Cub Scouts complete the last requirement for the adventure. Now, recognition can still be done at the pack meeting by recognizing the Cub Scouts' accomplishments, but it frees up the time it takes to distribute adventure loops and pins. I understand that this may be a fundamental change to how you conduct your den and pack meetings. And yes, there are alternatives. But here's the takeaway on this topic. Once a Cub Scout completes an adventure, they need to be rewarded instantly in order to make the association between the behavior and the reward. Completing an adventure at a den meeting, then getting the adventure loop at the same time as the meeting is the most effective way to utilize the advancement program. For many children who are Cub Scout age, they are unable to make the connection between their behavior and the reward when the reward is given days or weeks later. Now, this is actually called delayed reinforcement. And delayed reinforcement is more successful with older youth and adults and is an important trait. For example, becoming an Eagle Scout is one way we use delayed reinforcement in Scouts BSA advancement. In Cub Scouting, knowing the reason why we do things will help you understand how each part of the program works with the other to provide a holistic approach to working with children. Okay, that's enough of the Psychology 101 class. For some occasions, like rank advancement, a pack might hold an award ceremony. We know that some leaders love creating their own unique award ceremony. Often, this ceremony is to complement a theme that they have in mind. Now, other leaders may not be as creative at developing a script. We have tips that will help you either if you're writing your own or using an existing script. Award ceremonies are separate from instant recognition of adventures. They work in concert with instant recognition. Here are the elements that make for a great award ceremony. Keep it short. In the mid-1800s, speeches were expected to be long, hours long, and the length of a speech was kind of a reflection and directly tied to the importance of the topic. But President Abraham Lincoln proved that to be wrong. One of the most famous speeches, the Gettysburg Address, was one of the shortest speeches of its day. So don't make the mistake in thinking that a great ceremony has to be long. In fact, long ceremonies tend to lose their impact. If you're doing a ceremony for the pack, time the ceremony. How long does it take for someone to read through the whole script? Now, factor in the time for you to call up a Cub Scout and for them to come to the stage, for their parents or guardians to join them if they're doing so, for you to present the award, and all the other details. Now, a tip from the experts, have a printed program that lists all the ranks and awards you're presenting that night. This allows the audience to follow along. And another tip is to have an area just off of the stage where those who will be called up next are placed. This staging will greatly reduce the time it takes for Cub Scouts to come up to the stage to receive their recognition. Another tip is to keep it simple. I see well-intended Cub Scout leaders develop a ceremony that is trying way too hard to incorporate symbolism, hidden meanings, or become a commentary on life. As an adult, look, I appreciate ceremonies that have symbolism behind them. But in Cub Scouting, our participants, the Cub Scouts, they don't have the cognitive ability yet to grasp symbolism. They need direct ties and connections. A tip from the experts is that the Scout Oath and Law and the Cub Scout motto is all you need to draw from when it comes to a great ceremony. The words to describe the Scout Oath and Law are written in the Cub Scout Handbook in a way that Cub Scout-age children can understand. Use those words. They are powerful. Now, our last tip for ceremonies is simply to make it fun. And the first part of making something fun is to ensure that what you are doing is safe. Keeping Cub Scouts safe physically and keeping your pack a place where all Cub Scouts can feel emotionally safe too. Regardless if you are trying to develop your own ceremony or using one someone else developed, read through it. Make sure it does not violate anything found in the Guide to Safe Scouting. You may come across something that is not specifically stated in the Guide to Safe Scouting as a prohibited activity, but look, common sense is always expected of all of our leaders. Scouting activities, including ceremonies, are to uphold Scouting values and be age appropriate. If it looks questionable to you or makes you feel uncomfortable, take it out. Just don't do it. Great ceremonies uplift each member and puts the Scout Oath and Scout Law at the center. If you are ever part of an experience or ceremony that poses a physical threat to anyone, or you have a responsibility to stop it immediately. The same is true if a ceremony has elements of emotional harm, such as passing judgment on a Cub Scout's worthiness, being culturally insensitive, or withholding an award or advancement. All of these things are in conflict with the Scout Oath and Scout Law. When Cub Scouts, parents, and leaders know it is safe, they can relax and enjoy the ceremony. Making it safe is the first step to making it fun. There are so many ways to make ceremonies fun, we could spend a lot more time on it, and in fact, that is exactly what we're going to do now. Because now is the time for you to share. Take the remainder of the time to consider the following. What does your pack or den do to provide instant recognition? When would a ceremony be appropriate in a den or a pack? What does your den or pack do to make ceremonies fun? What does your pack do special for Cub Scouts when they earn their rank? How does your pack involve parents or legal guardians when recognizing Cub Scouts? And I have a request. I really would like for you to personally reflect on this question. Are the ceremonies your pack or den do follow these guidelines we discussed tonight? All right. Look forward to those discussions, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
And welcome back, everybody. So advancement is a very important topic, and that's why the video is a little bit longer than most. So thank you so much for your attention there. We move on now to Scouts BSA, and it's not quite ironic, but appropriate that at the end of the Cub Scout breakout, they were talking about safety, and they mention the Guide to Safe Scouting, because the theme for February for the Scouts BSA breakout is the Guide to Safe Scouting. So a couple of questions to think about and give your thoughts on in the chat as we go through this breakout. Specifically, we talk about safety at a leadership level quite often, but how can we make safety a value within our troops and within our crews and our ships, within our units, and not just a priority? Meaning, it's something that's ingrained in our every activity and our every thought. It's second nature versus something that we have to, it's a priority, it's an important, but making it a value is even more than just having it as a priority. It's something more value driven within our units. And then, to that point, if it's a value, then it's a part of our culture. So what do we do to make sure that the Guide to Safe Scouting is part of troop culture? So if you have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to the Guide to Safe Scouting, there's a link right here. It is updated periodically, often more than once a year. You can get a print copy, but this is almost an easier way to access it and get real-time, up-to-date information on what the Guide to Safe Scouting says. So do make sure that you're checking out this document if you've never seen it before. But otherwise, think about these pieces of information when it comes to the Guide to Safe Scouting and how it impacts operation of our troops and our scouting units here in Pathfinder District.
The safety of youth in every program offered by the Boy Scouts of America ranks as the organization's #1 priority. The Guide to Safe Scouting serves as the gold standard for delivering BSA programs safely. For the next few minutes, we'll cover key points about the guide. Few youth organizations encompass the breadth, volume, and diversity of physical activity found in scouting. The Guide to Safe Scouting provides an overview of BSA policies and procedures drawn from a variety of expert sources and designed to make the program safer. Parents have expected Scouts BSA activities to be safe even before COVID. Many of our safety incidents occur when our program does not get executed as designed or policies are ignored. The Boy Scouts of America expects leaders to use the 4 points of the acronym SAFE when delivering the Scouts BSA program. SAFE stands for Supervision, Assessment, Fitness and Skill, and Equipment and Environment. Supervision means Scouters accept their responsibility by being adequately trained, experienced, and skilled to lead an activity, including the ability to prevent and respond to likely problems and potential emergencies. Assessment predetermines what guidance and standards are typically applied to the activity, including those specific to the Scouts BSA program. Examples are safety afloat for aquatics, Activities should be assessed for risk during planning. As a Scouter, you have to review applicable program guidance or standards and verify the activity is not prohibited. Scouters need to confirm the activity is appropriate for the age, maturity, and physical ability of the Scouts by making sure annual health and medical records are reviewed and leaders have confirmed that prerequisite fitness and skill levels exist for Scouts to take part safely. Scouts should have the proper clothing for events and the right equipment so everyone is prepared for the environment and the equipment will be safe for the activities. You can access the Guide to Safe Scouting at the link on the screen. This guide was developed to help ensure all our youth have an opportunity to experience scouting in a safe environment. The guide also protects you as a Scouter by giving you guidelines for delivering the Scouts BSA world-class program safely to the youth of America. Please take the remainder of this breakout session to discuss the questions on the screen. Thanks for watching and all you do for Scouting.
All right, everyone. It's 8:21 p.m., a few seconds after, and we are right on time for wrapping up before 8:30, keeping in line with the standard length of our roundtables. If you do have any questions or anything that you would like to discuss from the breakout sessions or any of the information that we had before, please do take a moment here real quick and throw it in the comments. We've got a couple of minutes to handle those questions. And we do still have with us our special guest. I'd like to welcome back Mr. Alan Wente. Alan, thank you for hanging out with me tonight in the green room, as it were, the virtual green room. We'll see if we have any last-minute questions here. You're holding your finger up, so I'm going to assume you have something to say. Or are you pointing at C-3PO and R2-D2?
Yep.
Not a sponsor in any way, shape, or form. We are not violating trademark. Thank you, one and all. If you have not yet had the opportunity to do so, please make sure that you have checked in the chat, in the comments. If you are watching this on a recording, if you couldn't make it tonight, and I know that there were several units that had activities tonight, a couple of crossover ceremonies, especially in Center Grove and in the Franklin area. If you're catching this after the fact, thank you for joining us and watching the recording. Do still check in for attendance and put your name and information in the chat as well. I don't see any comments coming in, so or any questions. So anything else that you want to add, Alan? Any parting words for everybody here in Pathfinder District?
No, I just do want to follow up, and I know that Keith did correct us, but when I was questioning in my head whether it was 18 or 21 for the youth and Order of the Arrow, there had been a recommendation to make all programs and scouting the transfer from youth to adult at the age of 18. Those were not enacted. Those are still being researched or delayed. And so I think that's where my mind went when I kind of hesitated to answer that question. But Keith was correct that you are a youth until you're 21 in the Order of the Arrow.
Gotcha. And it's, as with everything here, if there are any clarifications or corrections, we'll obviously get you the correct information as things become available. But at the end of the day, whether it be Firecrafter or Order of the Arrow or summer camp, if you have scouts who are interested in helping on summer camp staff with Order of the Arrow and getting the chapter re-engaged and re-enlivened, if it's the Firecrafter program, and getting adults involved with that leading up to summer camp and having more candidates this year, don't worry about the regulations up front. Just let us know of the interest. Contact Alan, contact myself, contact members of the district committee, and we're really just looking for people who are interested in working and in helping out. And you were also mentioning, and I just want to make sure that this is clear to everybody, we were not trying to be evasive earlier when we were talking about the new OA advisor. We really do want to say who this person is. I know the individual that Alan is referring to, and he is a top-notch scouter. We are really excited that we have him coming on board. But at the end of the day, until that's officially approved by Jacko's Lodge, we can't say the name. So bear with us. You will meet this person in March, assuming that everything gets approved, and he will have lots of information to share on OA at that time. So Keith did add into the comments here in following up on that. Probably won't change now that venturers can be elected to OA. That is very true, that venturers can have elections as well. The crews can. So like we said, it was something that was just a passing thought. That directive at National, the idea of things ending at 18, that is not happening. That is off the table, at least for the foreseeable future. So up to 21, any youth at crew, ship, troop level, definitely have them get involved in OA. So not seeing any other questions. Alan, thank you once again for joining us and taking the time. Everybody out there who joined us for Roundtable this month, thank you so much. We will be having Roundtable again in March, and will be virtual. We'll have those links out shortly before. I have to set them up a certain amount of time out from the actual Roundtable itself. That's why I can't just tell you the links now. But we look forward to seeing you on March 11th. If you have any other questions, let the committee know. Otherwise, have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for joining us. On behalf of Alan, the entire district committee, thank you all for everything that you do for Scouting. Have a good night.
See you next month. See you next month.
I'm feeling real good 'cause today is a good day. I got a big surprise and I'm gonna send it your way. I'm gonna send it your way. It's a wonderful time, everybody, let's celebrate. Get down, get down. I'm feeling real good 'cause today is a good day.
Thank you for all your hard work and dedication in supporting the Boy Scouts of America.
Woo! Yeah!
Thanks for helping venturers like me. Hi, Mom.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Feeling real good 'cause today is a good day. I got a big surprise and I'm gonna send it your way. I'm about to send it your way. It's a wonderful time, everybody, let's celebrate. I'm feeling real good 'cause today is a good day. Come on. I'm feeling real good. Yeah, I said I'm feeling right. I'm feeling real good. That's right. I'm feeling real good. Hey, yo, I'm feeling right. I'm feeling real good.
I told you.
I'm feeling real good 'cause today is a good day. I got a big surprise and I'm gonna send it your way. I'm gonna send it your way. It's a wonderful time, everybody, let's celebrate. Throw your hands up, throw your hands up. I'm feeling real good 'cause today is a good day.